I want to share my experience with some of the limits and frustrations that I ran into when testing free hosting providers. There are important negative aspects to free hosting that I think you should be aware of. Broadly speaking, I like to think of free hosting as a great way to test out a site without spending any money at all. So like you've seen in this tutorial, it can be a good way to test out the WordPress install. We were able to try a theme and a template. You can see how you like using Elementor. And you can do all that without committing to paid hosting, or even committing to a paid domain, because we're still using that free domain. But one of the downsides to free hosting is that your website could get removed by the host for a number of reasons, and some hosts, like Infinity Free, do retain rights to use your content. That's why I personally don't like to count on free hosting as a stable, long-term solution. Even if free hosting providers don't run ads on your content, your website itself, there can be many ads in the account setup and the control panels, and that's exactly what we saw at the start of this video. When I tested freehosting.com, the setup was a little buggy, especially when using Chrome. We just saw here how I needed to open an incognito window to access the Edit with Elementor view. Sometimes the WordPress installs on the free hosts can take a few tries. I had a few that didn't quite finish, and there are a few more steps to installing WordPress in your theme and your template than there are when using paid hosting. Your website will typically load slower with a free host, something that I've seen a lot in my testing. There is limited, if any, support, and there are usually other limits that might prevent you from running your website exactly how you would like. In short, to summarize all of the drawbacks with free hosting, it can work, but like most things, you get what you pay for. For all of those reasons, if you want to avoid those limits and inconveniences, my recommendation is to go with affordable paid hosting. I use Hostinger for many of my sites, and it's far better than using free hosting. It's fast, reliable, WordPress is even easier to install, and a free domain is included. I've put a special discount link in the description so that you can save even more. Free hosting is okay if you simply want to experiment with WordPress and Elementor, but when using our special link, you can host your website with Hostinger for less than $50 a year, or for about $75 for 2 years. If you do decide to go with Hostinger, I have a full step-by-step WordPress tutorial you can follow next. In that video, I go through the exact same process that we just followed here with free hosting, but I do it with Hostinger. Everything else is still free, but we'll use the premium hosting for all of the benefits it provides. Just click this next video, or on the video link in the description below, so that you can get your site set up the right way.